What are we even on these days?
We are on episode 29.
29, feeling fine.
Oh, yeah.
Corona with the lime.
Can't believe next pod is going to be 30 episodes. I can't believe we're so deep in. I mean, felt like we just started.
we're tennis balls deep right now.
All right. I'm not sure what that means, but yeah.
Tennis balls. Remember when they would put tennis balls like on like your chairs in school? So they wouldn't scrape the ground.
Yeah. I wonder whoever like thought of that, like to actually do something like that.
Probably an old person because they put them on walkers too.
That makes sense. You think, do they have like special like walkers that you don't need the tennis balls on there?
Yeah, they have the ones with like the wheels and like the brake on it, and then it's like also a seat.
Right.
So you can like turn around and take a seat.
Okay. Yeah. I've definitely seen those before.
Can't believe we went on that hike earlier, and you're like, I almost brought a cane for this.
I was thinking about bringing the cane, man. I was just like, yo, every time I go on that hike, my back hurts for some reason. I don't know why. So I felt like the cane or like at least a stick would have definitely helped me out a bit. I don't know. I'm just getting old. I'm not that old that I need a cane, but I feel like getting up there.
I was walking up a hill with the dog, and the dog likes to pull a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, oh, this is kind of helping. Like, you're keeping me, like, lean forward and everything. Like, it's giving me some momentum getting up this hill.
So, do you enjoy the hikes with just the dog, or do you prefer it by yourself?
No, I like bringing the dog.
Okay.
It's kind of like peace of mind.
That's cool. Yeah.
Little companion walking alongside me.
And the dog gets gets exercise as well.
Yeah.
I love how we're just saying the dog.
Callie girl. Aw. Such a cutie.
Yeah.
She's a good girl. She doesn't get out much, though.
No.
So I like to have her hit the town.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she seems pretty healthy. I mean, she definitely loves like going out with you, so that's good.
Do you feel like there should be more dog-friendly places, or do you feel like that's a health hazard?
Yes and no. No for the fact that like I hate going to like supermarkets and you'll see like a person they have like their like small dog and like the carts.
Yeah.
And it's just like I put food there. Like I don't want your dog in there. I mean, then again, it's just like, hey, I want to bring my dog here, but I can't bring my dog because it's not a service dog. So it's just like, it's a double-edged sword.
I feel like in a lot of states, it's really easy to sign your dog up to be a service dog, even if they're not really doing anything for you.
Yeah, I could see that.
People just call them like their emotional support animal.
Well, I feel like an emotional support animal is a lot different from like actual service dog. Or they go like hand in hand. I'm not up to date on my.
So we're like an actual service dog will say help a blind person like cross the street. Where people that just get a little bit of anxiety, they just want their pet with them.
That's fair.
I feel like you should get like an emotional support iguana.
Iguana? Dude, we could go to Florida right now and get a bunch of iguanas. They're invasive.
We could. I remember I was a kid. It was my first time going to Florida. And like this little lizard like ran into my grandmother's house. And like she wasn't there at the time. So we like freaked out. Flipped the whole place upside down. Like, we got to get this lizard out of here. It like ran under the couch. So we eventually like get the lizard, get it out. Because we thought my grandmother was going to be pissed that this lizard got in the house. She gets back and she's like, oh, those things are always getting in here. Yeah, not a big deal.
You guys are just freaking out, turning the place all over and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, my mom was still like afraid she's going to get punished at like 40 years old.
No, I have a funny lizard story. I remember my mom was sleeping. This was like back on like when I was back on the island. Like my mom was sleeping, and we have these things that we called. It's like the lizards that like live underground, but they're kind of big. They're probably like about 9-10 inches. So they
sounds huge.
Yeah, they're pretty big. So they like to like run around like
must be a gigantic lizard.
Anyways, yeah, they basically just run around like the yard and stuff like that. And my mom was sleeping one day, and she was like, stop bothering me, just let me get some sleep. And I was like, you know what? I don't know. I don't have anything else to do, so might as well mess with the lizard. So I actually let the lizard inside of the house, and like she basically climbed up the bed like on her leg, and I just hear her like freaking out in the back.
Was this back in Jamaica?
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Jamaica, man. Actually, had a pretty. Oh,
Oh, snap. Blooper reel.
blooper. Damn. There's soap.
My delicious non-branded seltzer water just blew up all over me and ruined Wayne's lizard story.
Dude, that was an awesome lizard story, man. But no, I have another one, but that's a little bit graphic. I'll tell you off camera.
A lizard story?
Yeah, it was pretty messed up.
We got a pretty good lizard story. I'm going to have to tell you that one off camera.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, emotional support iguana. You're just chilling. Just changes colors.
Have you ever seen like those videos with like people just like having them around their neck and like they put like a little glasses on them? Just have them as like make money from it essentially. I don't know. I guess that's really big like down south, especially in Florida.
You know what I did see a video of? You ever seen those like statue men that'll set up like in Times Square in like a really populated area? Mm-hmm. People will tip them. These YouTubers, they set up like a mannequin, but they like painted it platinum or gold or something. And then people were just walking up and tipping it, thinking it was a real person.
Is that a real life money glitch?
I guess. Like you don't even have to do anything. You just set up this mannequin and just wait for people to put tips down.
It's not a bad idea. But how real would that mannequin have to look for people not to notice? I guess because of like the whole, like, you know, the guy is platinum, so they think it's like an actual person that's doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's pretty interesting.
Do you feel like street performers, like that can be a viable career? I feel like people do make good money doing that if you're in a well-populated enough area.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in like a small town, like definitely not. But who knows? I guess if you're doing something like incredibly talented that like people have never seen before, I guess you can. But I feel like back in the day, you could probably make a lot more money because people weren't as entertained. There weren't any phones or anything, so people were more inclined to like stop and actually like watch like what you're doing.
Yeah.
As opposed to like right now where people are like, oh, that's cool, I'll take a video, but I'm not gonna actually like tip you.
Oh man, my dryer's going off. It's playing Mary Had a Little Lamb. We're about to get copyright hit for this.
This is another blooper reel.
Samsung's about to come after us.
This is pretty long.
Yeah, I don't get why it's so long. I think I can turn it off too, and I've just never done it. But yeah, don't they call them like bandoliers or something? Like just street performers?
Maybe.
Like dudes that just drum on buckets? Like they make like pretty good money at times.
I'm sure like especially in like Times Square, they definitely make a lot of money.
Or like LA or something.
Right, yeah.
They get super territorial about it though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know there was this this one guy. He what was his name? The guy from The Hangover with the beard, Zach Galifianakis.
Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, I can't even pronounce his name. But like apparently there was a guy, like his girlfriend like broke up with him, and you know he grew his beard out, and people started recognizing him as like the guy from like Hangover. So he like quit his job. I guess he didn't have a job at the time, and he like went to like Las Vegas, and like he would just like charge people to take photos with him. And it was just like he was making a good living from that for like years until he was just like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore.
I saw a picture of one the other day in Times Square. It was Minnie Mouse.
Yeah.
But they had the head pulled up, and it was just like some old grungy looking dude as Minnie Mouse. It's like, come on, man. You can't figure anything else out.
Oh, man. Yeah, go ahead.
He was picking costumes, and he was just like, yeah, I'll be Minnie Mouse.
Isn't like the what was it? The trademark for Mickey Mouse, like the original design, like up now. Apparently anybody could use it.
Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie, yeah.
The original Mickey Mouse. It's public domain now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 100 years or something, and they can use it as public domain, and it's not like copyright.
Okay, yeah.
That's why that like Winnie the Pooh horror movie came out, because Winnie the Pooh's also public domain now.
Okay.
So pretty interesting.
Have you ever seen any of those, like the Winnie the Pooh? Because they've made like several of them.
No, I think it would ruin my childhood.
That's fair. I mean, I wasn't super big into Winnie the Pooh, but
I kind of was. I used to have these shoes when I was a kid. Called them my Christopher Robin shoes.
Yeah.
They're my favorite shoes. There's like little sandals.
Oh, that's pretty cool. They did make a movie like that where it basically followed like Christopher Robin as like, you know, as he was creating the characters. Oh, it was pretty interesting.
No, Christopher Robin was like the kid in the show.
So who's the author then?
Of Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah.
I don't know. Walt Disney?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I messed up. I don't know. I think it was him, but he was like grown up now, and he was like sort of like losing like the his old childhood nostalgia.
Oh, he was losing
Yeah.
the magic
Yeah, sort of like that.
of the 100-acre woods.
Mhm.
There's 1,000-acre woods, something like that.
I don't know. You got a better idea than I do.
About Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, that wasn't my forte.
So going back to your mom being like upset with you and telling her to, or telling you to leave her alone and stop messing around.
Mhm.
A kid accidentally ordered 70,000 Dum Dum lollipops playing around on his mom's phone. What do you think your mom would do to you if you did that?
Ooh, it's things that I can't say on the camera. Definitely, I don't know. Definitely, I'd probably get my ass whooped 100%.
It's Caribbean mother things.
Pretty much. I mean, it's definitely that corporal punishment.
What if you did it today? Would that still happen?
I mean, no. I feel like at that point I'd get cussed out, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it would go today, but
Would you return all the lollipops?
I mean, can you at that point if you order that much? Well, I guess maybe.
Yeah. I feel like you wouldn't have to buy candy for like the next 10 Halloweens.
That's true. So what if you got the candy and you just sold them and just like made a profit from that? You know, try to just upsell them a little bit.
I feel like Dum Dum lollipops aren't the thing to try to flip.
You don't think the lollipop market is hot?
Not the Dum Dum lollipop market. If it's like one of those big, like novelty looking lollipops, yeah, but I like a little Dum Dum.
Hey.
Maybe like a handful for $1 or something.
Yeah, I feel like that would take so long to sell like the inventory. Like,
Oh, yeah. You'd be sitting on those forever.
oh yeah.
Whereas, like, if you're flipping candy bars, that's a big thing.
Yeah, I had a friend that back in like high school, it was like a big thing. I guess kids still do it now. He would used to like come to school with like his bag filled with like candy bars and like fruit snacks. He would sell them at like lunch or like in between like class periods, and he'd make like a good amount of money from it,
The original hustle,
right?
selling candy at school.
It got so big that they told him to stop selling it. He
They
couldn't
shut him down?
Yeah, they shut him down. He couldn't like sell on school grounds, so we'd have to wait until like after school. So
He'd stand like across the street.
right,
He had a big trench coat. He just had a line with Twix bars.
he's a candy bar dealer.
So, you know, in the song "What's My Age Again" by Blink-182, it's like, "I walk alone, I let the feeling right." So he actually says, "I wore cologne," not "I walk alone."
I work alone. Huh.
I wore cologne.
I wore cologne. Huh.
It was a Friday night. I
feel-
walk alone. But it's I wore cologne.
Oh, not I walk alone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting tidbit.
Been hearing it wrong for years.
It's sort of there's like a lot of songs where you think they like say something, but they actually didn't. It's like especially like I don't know. Chris Brown had a song where he's like "F it, Robotus," and people thought he was talking about something else.
Or Big Yellow Taxi, where they say they paved paradise, put up a parking lot. I thought that was a cuss word when I was a kid. And they used to have those "Now That's What I Call Music" CDs. And they played a clip of it like on TV. And I was like, they can say that on TV?
Right.
I was freaking out as a little kid.
Yeah.
So I've got a dentist appointment coming up. Are you the type to brush your teeth before you go to the dentist? Like you're actually fooling them?
I had 2 dentist appointments in the past like 2 weeks. So every time I'd brush my teeth. The first time I brushed my teeth in anticipation that they were going to be like, "Oh, do you keep your teeth clean? Let me check." And I did it, and they could tell that I didn't floss at all.
Do you floss? Yeah. Yeah, I do.
They were just like, "No, we
No,
could
you
tell."
don't.
But yeah, no. Every time I go to the dentist before I go there, I brush my teeth, even if I'm getting my teeth clean. You know, it's just courtesy.
It's like how you're not supposed to lie to your lawyer, not supposed to lie to your dentist.
Yeah.
They're going to figure it out anyways.
Or your doctor. When did they start calling? I guess dentists are doctors, but when did they start calling like dentists like doctor? Not like yes dentist, but they're just like yes doctor now apparently.
I mean, probably once you had to get a doctorate degree to be a dentist.
I don't know. I've never heard it before, but like this new dentist I'm going to, it's just like yes doc, no doc. And I was just like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Before like college and higher education, like how did you get certified to do things? Like, how'd you become a doctor?
You just kind of wing it. I guess no, they've had like universities for like hundreds of years. I mean, I'm sure they
But
still went
like
there.
the original doctors, were they
Yeah.
just like in a village and they're like, all right, this guy, you're gonna be the doctor.
This guy knew his herbs, you know, just go to him.
Yeah. Or you just be like kind of nerdy and into herbs and natural healings back in the day.
I guess so. I guess when did it become, you know, you become a doctor instead of like everybody freaking out because they didn't understand like the healing properties of things that you actually use to like help people? When was a switch from like, oh, he's a witch or like a wizard to like, oh, he's a doctor, he could actually help us?
I don't know. Probably back when people started like specializing in certain things, like just because you're either a hunter or a gatherer back in the day.
Right.
And then they were like, all right, maybe this guy doesn't have to go out on the hunt tomorrow, but he's going to mess around with these herbs and try to fix this guy because he's sick.
He got sick. He got hurt while he was hunting.
Yeah. Like, all right, this guy's got a major case of the owies. What kind of grasses
Let's patch him up.
can we put on his wound to make him feel better?
There's a lot of like Jamaican like remedies where you just like, because in Jamaica when you go outside, essentially there's like fruits and there's just like vegetables everywhere, but there used to be like different like things in the yard you could just like go outside and like pick or like, you know, cut, and you just like help with like cold, which is really nice as opposed to like, you know, here where it's just like everything is medication, you know, you got yeah
Just try to pump you up with prescriptions.
yeah everything there, well, a lot of things there were natural.
It's apparently an old wives' tale. I heard this yesterday. It's an old wives' tale that if you get a burn, you're supposed to put butter on it.
Butter?
Yeah, like something fatty on it to like aid the burn. But that's not what you're supposed to do at all.
No.
Because butter is like a fat, which is an insulator. So like that's just gonna make the burn even worse.
Right.
Like you're supposed to like put cold water on it. That'll help draw the burn out.
Yeah, like I've heard about like water, cold water, that helps it out. And like aloe vera, right? That also helps.
Yeah. I remember one of my friends like broke his ankle at a baseball game one time when he was playing. And they like tied up like his cleat like real tight. They're like, yeah, my coach said to leave it like this to like stop the swelling. And I'm like, there's no way this is good for you.
Probably not.
Like he should take this thing off.
Yeah.
And I think it ended up making it way worse for him.
What, did they have to like re-break something?
I don't know if they had to re-break something. They definitely had to cut his cleat off of him.
Right.
Because his foot just swelled to the inside of it and just kept it like super tight. I'm like, dude, you should take that thing off. That's not going to be good for you.
Yeah, no. As a person that tends to get a lot of sprained ankles, I could definitely like relate to that. I remember when I was playing baseball back in, not baseball, like volleyball back in high school. Like I like came down wrong and like sprained my ankle and like, you know, immediately took my shoes off and my socks. And it was just like basically like a baseball size, like, you know, just like swelling on my leg.
Clear the gym out with the smell of your feet.
No, that's the thing. I don't have smelly feet typically. Like it takes a lot for me to actually, my feet to actually smell, but just like my toenails, that's a different story. They look horrible.
I got a pedicure like months ago, probably back in like January. It's May now. And they did like the clear coat polish on my toes.
Right.
And like it's finally like grown out to like where the point if I think I cut my toenails the next time, like all that clear polish is kind of be gone.
How long did it take to actually like?
It's since about 5 months. No, this was December. So I got it done right after Christmas. Used a gift card.
You know what you're supposed to do with that? You gotta use the I forgot what they use, but like basically take the nail polish off. Just cut your nails and just repolish them again. You know, just do it at home.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, as a man getting a pedicure, like it was kind of nice.
I mean, sometimes you just got to treat yourself, you know? I don't see anything wrong with that. You got to look good for yourself. It makes you feel better. You know, it also, you know, makes your spouse feel better because they know that you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It was kind of gross. I felt bad for the girl that was doing the pedicure because like my feet are like up on like the little stool thing. And like my toes are just like in her hair and she's just like doesn't care. And I'm just like looking like, This is kind of gross, don't you think?
I mean, it's their job. I mean, I feel like they're okay with that.
They're probably
Yeah.
used to it, but like still, like if somebody put their feet on my head, I'd be like, "This is gross. Get
Yeah.
away from me."
I have a very tragic story about getting your like toes done and feet done at like the nail salon. My mom had a friend that she was diabetic. I guess she like got her she was getting her feet done and actually accidentally got cut.
Ooh,
And yeah, so they had to amputate her like her foot essentially.
jeez.
Yeah, so she was just like in like a rehab for like probably like a few months.
Did she like sue the nail salon or anything?
I don't know what came of it, but I remember like visiting her and it was just like it was pretty sad. I think they like took off where like the the toes are and then they like came back further down. It's kind of like, very traumatic.
Yeah. So like she can't walk anymore, type of thing.
No, she'd have to get like a prosthetic leg in order to walk. Yeah.
That's sad.
It is very sad, especially like when you're like going out, you're trying to look good, and it's just like this happens where that completely like changes your life.
Yeah. 1 minute she was at the spa getting her nails did.
Mhm.
Next she's getting her toes cut off.
Right.
They still make her pay for the pedicure.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're wheeling her out, like trying to get her like card. They got the little card reader she's getting like put in the back.
I'm sure she paid for it, but obviously this happened over a course of like weeks before they like actually took her.
Mm, yeah. What do you think is the ugliest car?
What is the ugliest car?
I saw one of those little Nissan Cubes yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Just looks like a little ice cube moving around. It was all white.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the ugliest car. Who would buy one of these?
A lot of people, surprisingly.
Who goes down to the dealership and they're like, give me that. Give me this box.
I think it's probably like a cheaper Nissan, I would imagine.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I wouldn't foresee somebody spending a great deal of money on something like that. Well, I'm sure any deal of money buying a car is a good deal of money, but still, they can't be a high end expensive car.
I think, I guess art. I guess you could call it the design of a vehicle art.
Oh.
So I guess you could say that it's subjective. Art is subjective, so it depends on what somebody likes. So they might like that.
That's what I take into consideration when I'm searching for a car. What's gonna speak artsy to me?
The thing is, not a lot of people like actually know the ins and outs of like cars and stuff. So a lot of people just go off of like what looks good or what looks good to them, which is not the best way to go about doing things, especially when you're like buying a car that you need that has to be like reliable. So
Let us know if anybody in the comments has a Nissan Cube. What possessed you to make you want to get that thing?
what is the? There's one that I hate that I almost got for instead of my Ford. It almost looks like a buggy, but it's not a buggy. I forgot who makes it.
A buggy, like a
What is it called?
not like a Volkswagen Bug, right?
No, not the Volkswagen Bug. I call it a buggy, but it's like one that looks like it. I don't know if it's like Chrysler makes it. I forgot what it's. I think Chrysler makes it.
A Pontiac Prowler.
Is it a Prowler? It's just like
No, you'd know if it was a Pontiac Prowler.
I don't think it was that. I don't know what it's called. It's gonna come to me. I just can't remember.
Is it like square?
It's square and it's just like it almost looks like a hatchback, but it's just like small. I don't know. How
A
to describe
Scion XB?
No, it's not that. I don't remember. It'll
Like
come to me.
what Bow Wow had in Tokyo Drift?
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't a minivan. It was I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, it was like that car. If I could ever remember the name before the podcast is over, like it's that one.
It's gonna hit you in like 10 minutes.
Right.
So PlayStation 2 had 3 Grand Theft Auto games. Grand Theft Auto 5 had 3 consoles. That's just such a crazy concept.
Yeah.
Just what goes into video games these days.
I think why it took so long to like make another graphic. Now what am I talking about? Another Grand Theft Auto is because Grand Theft Auto 5 was doing so well. So especially in this day and age where like companies like to remaster a game, if it's like it's sold great, they can just like resell the same basic same game just with better graphics over time. in the case of like Grand Theft Auto, I think they just pushed it for so long. Granted, the newer one is a lot more ambitious. However, I think that Grand Theft Auto 5 was just like making so much money. So, it spanned the course of like what, 10, 12 years.
Yeah, instead of making sequels to games now, they just make like DLCs, just downloadable content. They just keep updating the same game,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool, especially for like people that really like one game, then they put years and years into it. It's not the next game comes out and then they're just completely SOL on all those years they just put into that one.
Right.
So that's interesting in that aspect. But like, isn't like Elden Ring like that, where it's all DLC content?
Yeah, but the thing is, they're not nickel and diming like players or like the audience. Like they sell Elden Ring, and that game was complete. There was like no bugs or anything. And then like over the course of like 2 years, they'll release like a DLC with which is like almost like a completely new game. But it's not like there's like selling a part that was originally supposed to be in like the original Elden Ring. It's like something completely new.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
It's like a new like map or something.
Yeah,
like
like a
that.
new experience. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, there's good studios and there's bad studios. I feel like for games, some are just solely in it for the art of making money. Others are actually in it for the art.
That's true. It's especially egregious nowadays. Like a lot of companies are going towards like live service games, so they like to push like the microtransactions, or like for instance, they'll come out with like a free to play game, like like Marvel Rivals, where it's just like, oh, they could sell cosmetics and people will come back and just like buy the cosmetics, and that's how they'd make their money over time.
I think the Fortnite strategy, where make the game free so anybody can access it, and then sell the skins.
Right.
I feel like that was a crazy, like popular business model that's now taken over
It was
in the gaming world.
a lot of companies, like a lot of like the bigger companies, saw what Epic did with like Fortnite, and they were like, how can we emulate that? So that's why, like I said, that's where there's a lot of like live service games that are coming out, because like Fortnite was making like so much money, and it's just like, hey, how can we do that with Call of Duty? Like recently they had Seth Rogen, and they had like the guys from what's it called, Clerks or whatever. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. Jay and Silent Bob.
yeah, they had them as just like, how did Call of Duty derive? Like how did it come to this, where it's just like buying skins of like famous people, or
Yeah, they did Squid Games as well in Call of Duty. They're just taking popular pop culture things and then adding it into the game.
just milking it, and people are just not smart enough. They'll eat it up.
Unless Epic Games wants to give us a creator code, then we're all on board, or even our own skins.
Oh yeah, super on board. Just
It'll just be Wayne in a gray T-shirt.
no. Speaking of Call of Duty, like there's this this operator, I guess that's what you call them. There's like this bald, like bigger black dude with a beard. Like every time people are just like, "Oh, that's you, Wayne."
I remember they had Ice Cube where he like voiced like one of the characters in Black Ops 1, I think it was. Just have like Ice Cube yelling at you like, "Get to the compound."
Oh, you sure it wasn't Ice-T?
No, I'm pretty sure it was Ice Cube.
Ice Cube? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ice Cube was in
Oh,
Black Ops
no.
1. He was one of the voices.
Ice-T was in Gears of War.
Was he?
Yeah, I think Gears of War 3. Yeah.
I think it was funny how Ice-T had the hit song like Cop, and then he was a police officer on, what was it, SVU.
Right. Who would ever seen that coming?
I mean, I guess paycheck's right.
Hey,
You can get just about anybody to do anything.
you can't spend the rest of your life making rap music, you got to transition over to, acting, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like more people these days know Ice-T as an actor than a rapper anyways.
That's true. I mean, I wouldn't say not recently, in the last like 10 years, like I found out that he was actually a rapper before. He would like actually like start in like movies. Yeah.
So people always claim like Biggie and Tupac is one of the greats. Do you think if they stuck around and stayed alive longer, what do you think they'd be doing? Do you think they would have fallen off how some rappers like these days do? Or do you think they'd have like, you think like Biggie would have like a line of burger chains or something like that?
I think they have the staying power because they were so talented, in their own right.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of rappers who are big today would not have like actually, be on top if like Biggie or like Tupac was around, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I mean, at the time of Notorious B.I.G.'s death, he only had one album out,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the biggest in the world off that one album.
Right.
And then, like, after he passed, like, they put out his posthumous album,
Mm-hmm.
Life After Death, which is kind of eerie if you
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah. Because a lot of stuff he like said in there, like if you actually listen to it, is just like talking about like him passing away. And it's just like, it's strange that this is what he like foreshadowed.
I saw somebody broke down his song, I Got a Story to Tell.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that song by him?
No.
So essentially, he's talking about how he was messing around with an NBA player's wife or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like at the NBA player's house, like, and he comes home from a game or something. And then he like fake robs like the place.
Mhm.
So like he's messing around with the girl. Then he comes home and then like he throws a ski mask on. And then he like robs the dude. So he just gets a bunch of like money from the guy too. Somebody broke down that actual story
Yeah.
and like lined up all the facts of what like player it was.
Mm-hmm.
So he said it was a player off the Knicks.
Really? Ooh. That's interesting.
We got to look into that.
Yeah, if it's true, that's kind of crazy. How you take the dude's girl and you rob him, then you make a song, essentially dissing him after you already did so much dirt.
Yeah, because the premise of the song is like he's getting to his boy's house and he's like, yo, like I got a story to tell.
Uh-huh.
And then he like raps the whole story. And he's like, he just started giving me mad paper.
Mhm.
I'm gone. Pretty funny.
Speaking about rappers, have you heard that Tori Lanez, who's currently locked up doing time, I think he's doing like 10 years or so?
Yeah, he got poked up.
He did 14 times.
I saw people were saying like, oh, that's a hoax and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were saying like, oh, like this isn't true. Like that didn't actually happen. He's
Really?
probably just lying about it,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah, if it is true, from what I've been seeing, I feel like it is. However, it's kind of crazy. Like he was in like Gen Pop, like
Yeah.
a bunch of like people. I guess you run the risk of that happening, especially,
Yeah, I mean, being a high profile inmate like that.
right.
Like,
Like
if people will just do it just for like the clout in there.
that's true. Like I don't know. I always thought that like people were just like had like who are like celebrities who are at the notoriety, just like it would get like going like what's it? I said like 10 times. I'm trying to think of the word to say.
Special treatment, kind of.
Yeah, like special treatment.
Not like solitary confinement, but
Mhm.
I don't know, because technically his crime was somewhat violent.
Yeah.
So they probably put him with other violent criminals.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
They definitely made an example out of him.
Oh yeah.
I saw people talking about on X, like, whoever did it, let me know their name. I'm going to put some money on their books. Just like, why are you, regardless of your feelings,
Mhm.
like, towards him, like, why are you promoting violence towards this guy?
I don't know. People online could be very toxic. I guess that's the appropriate word to use.
Yeah.
You know.
Speaking of felons, felons aren't allowed to vote. Do you think they should be allowed to vote, though?
I think it depends on like the crime that they committed. If it's like something like heinous,
Yeah.
then no. But if it's just like maybe like tax fraud or something,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like at that point you can't really make stipulations on it. It's all or nothing at that
Mhm.
point. Either you can or you can't.
All right.
I feel like felons should be allowed to vote, though.
Okay. Why is
Just
that?
because they committed a crime. Like, if they're out, they should be able to vote just
Mhm.
because it's still their country that they're living in.
Right.
They shouldn't feel like they've lost that right
Mhm.
because they've done their time and they've served their time.
Right.
So they should still have a say of what happens in the country that they
Mhm.
live in instead of just saying, like, no, like, you completely lost that right for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand that. I can see that.
It's kind of like a freedom of speech thing, too, at
Mhm.
times. Like, you should be able to vote for who you think's gonna be the best for your kind of future.
Right. I get it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see, what else do I got for you? Have you ever used Afterpay for anything? Like you go to buy a T-shirt or something, and they say, "Do you want to pay full for this, or do you want to buy this T-shirt in $8.50 payments for the next 4 weeks?"
Never used that. I feel like that's something that I think stuff like that, they use that to like kind of like prey on people who are not, like money literate or just like have the money at the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I've never actually used something like that. I mean, I'd rather just use my credit card and just pay it
Yeah.
myself.
So a lot of that's interest free though,
Oh, it is.
versus credit cards.
Mhm.
So I mean, it helps if you don't want to rack up interest and it's something that you really want.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can use Afterpay to pay for like a bowl at Chipotle.
Right.
Like, you really want to be paying off this Chipotle bowl at $5.83 for the next 4 weeks.
Mhm.
Like, I just feel like it's not a good direction for consumers.
It's not. It'll lead to like people spending money that they don't already have in the moment and just like racking up a bunch of like debt over time.
Yeah, it's definitely predatory,
Mm-hmm.
especially kind of like payday loans, stuff
Right.
like that. Like, there's all these companies popping up, like, do you want your paycheck a week earlier?
Mhm.
It's essentially just a payday loan.
Yeah, it is.
And then it's definitely like just a higher interest loan, where Afterpay isn't so much the same thing,
Mhm.
but it's like no credit check required, stuff like that.
So so I'm guessing you have to like fill out your information and stuff like that. How do they recoup their money? Is it like is like something that'll go on like your credit if you miss a payment? Or
That I don't know, but it's probably like they probably get a small like merchant fee if they're able to do that.
Mhm.
So it's probably merchant fees. And if somebody doesn't pay, I'm not sure how they exactly go after them.
Right.
Maybe it'll get reported to a credit bureau,
Mhm.
but at the same time, like that's just not a good way to pay for things.
It's not.
Like with a credit card, there's credit checks involved, and you have to be qualified to be able to get
Mhm.
that and have the responsibility.
That's true.
Then again, tens of thousands, if not more, Americans are in credit card debt.
Yeah, that is a big thing. That's but no, I even like credit cards. I mean, sure you should get a credit card if you like you want to like build your credit and stuff.
Yeah.
However, it's just like when people start taking out 4, 5, 6 credit cards and just like racking them up and just
Yeah.
like you're in like a ton of debt for like the next 10, 15 years. That's when
Yeah.
it becomes a problem.
It's definitely not a good thing.
Mhm.
So credit cards are definitely bad. Don't buy things you can't afford typically,
Yeah.
unless it's something you need.
Mhm.
Don't just buy random crap.
That's true.
Let's see. What's like your favorite throwback food from when you were a kid?
Oh man,
I'd say mine was Kid Cuisine.
Kid Cuisine.
Yeah,
Why is that?
just because it's nostalgic.
Yeah.
It's essentially like a TV dinner. It came in like that blue tray.
Uh-huh.
It'd be like chicken nuggets and like mashed potatoes, and then they'd have like a little cosmic brownie in the
Mhm.
corner. They weren't good, but like you were excited anytime you had a Kid's Cuisine.
I think they were good. You didn't think they were good like when you were younger? I feel like they were good like when I was younger, but like growing up and like if I were to try it now, I'd be like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, TV dinners used to be a lot bigger of a thing.
Mhm.
And then I think just as people started realizing like they're completely unhealthy for you, they're just loaded with sodium,
Yeah.
they definitely went away.
But for me, I don't know. I just back in my day, I just ate a lot of bread. Like that was a big thing.
It's a lot of bread.
Yeah, I was like all for bread, and I still am. I enjoy that, but I can't think of anything that is just like a throwback that I really enjoyed back in the day.
I remember green ketchup was a thing at one point,
I did remember that.
and
Yeah.
it did not taste good. They had like green ketchup, purple ketchup. And it was like cool when you're a kid, like,
Uh-huh.
oh yeah, I'm eating green ketchup.
Mhm.
But it just tasted like terrible.
Was it like regular ketchup, just like filled with a bunch of like food dye, essentially?
Yeah, just a bunch of food dye.
Yeah.
Like, could not be good for you.
Definitely not good.
What were they feeding us back then?
I don't know, but that's probably why we're so stupid now that we're older.
It's the red dye 40 getting to us.
Right. Yeah, apparently they're phasing that out apparently.
I mean, I don't know exactly what's bad in it for you, but I just feel like the more unnatural that you eat, like the worse for you it is.
Apparently it supposedly causes so that's why. I don't know how true that is, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, doesn't anything.
A lot of things do, but hey, we still do it.
Let's see. You know, sugar highs are fake.
Is it?
Like people don't like giving their kids sugar because it's going to make them have a sugar rush. That's not really a thing. So essentially doctors, they did 2 studies. They gave one group of kids sugar and then one group of kids like fake sugar. Like, and essentially both groups acted the same.
All right.
Like neither got like hyper or anything like that. So they think it comes a lot more. Say you give a kid a piece of cake and he's at a birthday party. They tend to get hyper because of external stimulation. They're excited that they're at a birthday party. They're hanging out with their friends,
Right.
stuff like that. Or like the kid's at a park. He has an ice cream cone or something. Like he's just getting all excited because he's at the park running around. It's not just from the sugar. They've done studies on it. It's not a real thing.
That's interesting. Yeah, who would have thought?
Do you give your kid sugar?
No, I try to stay away from that. I guess I don't know. I try, especially like with juice, like if there's like sugar in there, or like we try not to give him anything that has sugar or like added sugar. So, and even if we do give him juice, we usually water it down. So,
Mans hasn't even had a real juice yet.
no, he hasn't. But it's just like, to stop like childhood obesity, as like to help him like grow up as healthy as he can be, and especially, he has a lot of teeth. I mean, he's really young and he has a lot of his teeth in. So I also want to protect him from like, tooth decay. So
Just give him diet soda.
no, absolutely not.
So you know what's crazy that I heard? You know how they say we only use 10% of our brains? That's not true.
It's not. No, you're right.
Yeah. Just because like if somebody gets like a slight head injury, like that causes like major brain damage to
Right.
them. Like if we only use 10% of our brain, that would not be true.
That's true. Yeah.
And just naturally over time, your body will phase out things that aren't important for you. So like if we're only using 10% of our brain, like your brain just, well, not yours specifically, but over time as humans evolved, it would shrink the brain to only use what they need.
Right.
That way it's not putting resources towards wasted things in your body.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, I feel like your brain also does a thing where if you can't remember something, it'll go back and just like kind of like grab what it thinks, that situation was, and kind of like fill in like the gaps.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know, like recreate what you think it was. It's like the game of telephone almost.
Yeah.
They ever play that where something starts on one end and then it's like got to play telephone through everybody?
Yeah.
And then it's something completely different on the other end.
Yeah. Essentially how your brain works.
Similar concept.
Yeah.
What makes ketchup fancy?
What makes ketchup fancy?
Like you look at the bottle, it says fancy ketchup.
I guess it's made from a particular kind of
Fancy tomatoes.
tomato, I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
Are you a ketchup or a mustard kind of guy?
I was a ketchup and a mustard guy. And then as I've gotten older, I kind of like phased out the mustard because I feel like, I don't know, it takes over, especially like on a hot dog. Like I put ketchup on there,
Yeah.
but like I can't add like mustard because it just like, it's overpowering,
Yeah. It just makes whatever you're eating only taste like mustard.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of like when you put peppers into something. Peppers are really good. I like them. But if you eat something with peppers in it, all you can taste is the peppers.
Right. No, you're right. Are you a big spicy food guy?
No.
No.
Unpopular opinion, I hate sour foods. Like sour candy is the worst. Like I can't do it at all.
Yeah.
Like people that love Sour Patch Kids don't like them. For years, my mom would get me Sour Patch Kids for my birthday. And finally one year I told her, like, why do you always buy me these? I don't like them. She was devastated. She was like, I
Aw.
thought you loved Sour Patch Kids.
Is there a reason why you don't actually like them? Like, what does it do to you?
It's just like, I don't like the feeling of like my tongue like puckering up kind of. I just don't like the taste.
Right.
That's also why I don't really like spicy foods. Like you can't really enjoy something that's spicy in my opinion.
I think it also depends on what you're eating. If it's meant to be spicy, like if that's like an ingredient,
Yeah.
that's fine. But like, I don't know how people will get like just like food that's, and they'll just like dump a bunch of pepper on there and just like eat it.
Yeah. Or people that put hot sauce on everything.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like spice is more of like a fun thing, like an experience versus like just eating it because you like the taste of spicy.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree.
And it doesn't feel too good coming out the other end either.
No, I mean, I don't particularly have a problem with spicy food, but like to eat it like every single day, no.
Like if you're eating some super hot wings and you want to get like the endorphins pumping, like that's fun.
Right.
But like if you're just eating hot wings just to be like, yeah, I like really hot wings. No.
No, it's definitely not good for you. Just like acid reflux and just like,
Yeah.
it's a bad situation.
Just burning your esophagus.
Oh yeah.
What do you think is the worst show or movie that they've remade?
The worst show or movie they've remade. I'm gonna bounce that one to you, and then let me think about it. What do you think?
So I watched a couple episodes of that 90s show. It was like a remake of that 70s show. And it still had Topher Grace and then the Donna, I forget her name.
Right.
So it still had Eric and Donna as like the parents, and it was like their kid now.
Kids. Yeah.
And it was just such not a great show. I think it came out on Netflix.
What about it wasn't not good?
So that 70s show was kind of like humorous. They had like some more like adult humor in it. They were trying to like gear this towards like kids more so,
Right.
being that 90s show. I think they just kind of missed the mark on it. Where that 70s show or like the comedy and the humor came out.
Right.
I think that 90s show just couldn't replicate that on a PG level.
I see. Yeah, I get it. It was for, I guess, I feel like That 70s Show was for like an audience back in the day and should like recreate it now where people kind of like grew up and like grew past like where they were when that came out. I think it doesn't resonate with people now, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, that 70s show, people will still rewatch it.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last I rewatched it? Like 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, it's just like so good. It's timeless.
It's classic.
Yeah.
It's kind of like people with The Office. They
Right.
always rewatch that.
I'm not rewatching The Office or watching it.
No, not an Office kind of guy.
No. But for me, in regards to like, it's not, I don't have a show, but I have like a movie. I think it's like the Fantastic Four, how they like try to like reboot. Like the new movie's coming out. That one looks good. However, like Fan Four Stick, where everybody had like a big issue with that. Yeah, I think that reboot from like 2015.
What's it called? Fan Four Stick?
It was Fantastic Four, but like the way they designed like the typography, it says it read as Fan Four Stick. So yeah, I watched the movie and it wasn't very good.
It's kind of like the Fast and the Furious, how every time they just take another word out of the name.
I guess you could say
Fast 6. Fast and Furious 4.
But if you actually look at like the title of the movie, it's just like literally it reads as Fan Four Stick, and just that one wasn't very good. I mean, I liked, even though the ones from like the 2005 2007 weren't as good. I think this one in particular just missed the mark completely.
Yeah, there's just too many superhero movies.
I like superhero movies though.
I guess. I'm not a fan. I think the last one I saw, I fell asleep watching Thor in theaters.
I don't know why people like Thor. Like I hated the first one, definitely hated the second one. The only good one was Thor Ragnarok. I'll give them that. That one was pretty entertaining. I actually enjoyed that one. But yeah.
For not liking them, you've sure seen a lot of Thor movies.
I mean, yeah, because they're all interconnected, so you got to watch them to like understand what's going on in like the next movie.
You don't want to miss out.
Essentially, yeah.
They've just milked superhero movies way too much.
They have. There's a thing called like superhero fatigue. People just like, hey, it's another superhero movie. We're tired of it. We've just had 15, 20 years of just like superhero movies constantly just like smashing the box office. It's just like, hey, why don't we just like take a step back, you know, and just like actually tell interesting stories that don't involve like, you know, people with like superpowers. So
Yeah, and I feel like just because they can be literally anything, like nothing has to be realistic.
all right.
They can make anything up.
And I think the big issue, it's definitely showing, especially with like Disney movie, like this, like because Disney's in charge of like Marvel, so they create all like the Marvel movies and stuff. A lot of like recent like superhero movies after like, you know, the Avengers. I forgot what is it Infinity War? Like after like the big everything, like Iron Man passes away. Spoiler alert. Like after that, it's just like they've been like every now and then the movies just like flop because like nobody's watching it or they're not interested.
Well, you just ruined Infinity War for me.
If you haven't seen that, come on, man. It's been 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I had no plans to watch it.
But yeah, no, superhero fatigue is definitely a thing.
Yeah, I think I got it while watching Thor and falling asleep in the movie theater.
So, isn't there a superhero movie that you actually enjoy?
I mean, the one that everybody enjoyed, The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. Well, those are good. I feel like those are more grounded as opposed to what we have now.
You know, Heath Ledger initially didn't want to be in the Batman series.
Really?
He was initially up for Batman, and he turned it down. Then Christian Bale took it.
Really?
Then Heath Ledger saw Batman Begins, and he just saw like the spin on it, and he was like, "I need to be in that."
Yeah, that's another tragic tale. It's just like he played such an amazing Joker, and I feel like that's sort of like what spiraled him into like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
And now just every person that plays the Joker from here on out, they're either not going to live up to like the expectations that he set, or they're just going to base their character off of specifically what he did.
Pretty much. I mean, he's a Joker, at least for live action, you know, renditions.
Do you think these movie studios should be supplying like therapy and things like that for these method actors that just take on the role super seriously like Heath Ledger did?
I don't think so. I think if that's the business that you're gonna get into, you have to understand your own personal limitations. I mean, sure, it'd be nice if they did help out.
Yeah.
But it's just like you have to help, like hold yourself accountable as well. You know, I know it's art. You know,
Yeah.
so
I mean, it's art. Sometimes to evolve to the next form of art, you can't have limitations on yourself.
yeah, I mean, I suppose.
Got to break a couple eggs to make an omelet.
All right.
All right. Last thing I got. So, you know, when lightning strikes a car, people think it's the rubber tires is what's like saving people from not getting hit by lightning.
All right.
That's not true at all.
Yeah.
No.
What is it?
So it's essentially metal in the car. So metal's a greater conductor than you are. So what the lightning's trying to do, it's trying to find its quickest route to the ground.
Right.
It hits the metal in the car, it's automatically going to stay within the metal and then go to the ground.
Oh.
So it doesn't touch you at all.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
It's not the rubber tires.
Ah. So it's just like nobody's ever been, I guess, electrocuted in the car if lightning struck it.
I wouldn't say nobody ever,
Yeah.
but you're much safer in a
the
car,
car.
versus being like just out in the open
Yeah, I could see that.
when lightning comes down.
Yeah. People say lightning don't strike in the same place twice. That's not true. It definitely does.
There was one guy that got struck by lightning 7 times.
Really?
He was like a park ranger or something. Hit by lightning 7 times,
Did he
and he
survive?
lived every time.
That's gnarly.
Just, you must either be the luckiest or the least luckiest person in the world.
I feel like both. The luckiest, unluckiest person. Have you ever seen like people who have gotten like hit by lightning? Like the cool patterns it makes on their body?
It looks like, you can just like see like their veins and everything. Pretty crazy.
It is.
Well, guess you got a higher chance of getting struck by lightning than hitting the lottery.
Yeah. Which one would you take?
I wonder if that guy that got hit by lightning 7 times ever bought a lottery ticket.
Honestly, that would be the first thing I'd buy as soon as I got up.
Take me to the gas station. I need to get a lottery ticket.
Right.
All right. I guess that's all we got for episode 29.
This was fun. Just me and you today.
2-man jam.
Mm-hmm.
10,000 likes, and we will send Wayne out in a lightning storm to buy lottery tickets.
Let's do it, guys. I'm excited.
See which one he gets hit with first.
All right. Well, episode 29.
Bye
Thanks
bye.
for watching.
We'll be back.
Have a good one, guys.